right back at it here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Great American ballpark. It's the Pirates and the Reds, concluding game of the opening 3-game series to the 2015 campaign. The Reds have won the first 2 games, including an 11-inning victory last night over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Early this morning, the game ended at 1:45, so quick turnaround. Hope you got your sleep. Greg Brown along with John Wehner. And John, we'll see Batman today. He returns to the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates. A.J. Burnett on the hill against the Cincinnati Reds.
And A.J.'s so happy to be back in a Pirates uniform. He left for a year, went to Philly, and didn't have a great year. Had some injury issues, the hernia. 18 losses, a 4.59 ERA, but still has that rubber arm. 34 starts through over 200 innings. Still capable, still has the stuff when he's on to run through a lineup.
38 years old, won 26 games for the Pirates over back-to-back seasons, and he'll be tested. Billy Hamilton has been a thorn in the side for the Pirates going back to last season, John. He's been getting on base the first 2 games of this series, 4 for 9, on base 5 times, 4 stolen bases. He scored 3 runs. Got to keep him off the bases.
Yeah, no question. That's imperative, especially against a guy like A.J. Burnett, who does not hold runners very well. But for whatever reason, he's had great success against the Pirates in his career. 363 career average, 19 stolen bases, 18 runs scored. So, yeah, I think it's important to keep him off the base.
And important to have a short memory if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates. As we said, the game ended at 1:45 as Joey Votto drove in Zach Cozart with a game-winning run. It was a walk-off victory for the Reds. Pirates looking for their first W of the young season. A.J. Burnett on the hill against Anthony DeSclafani. We'll have it coming up next.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. By Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Welcome back to Great American Ballpark for the finale of the first 3 games of this season. And we had plenty of rain last night. There was a rain delay in the opening game of this series on Monday. Last night's game didn't get started till 9:45, and we're hearing that we could have more rain a little bit later on. We check out that Toyota starting lineup for Clint Hurdle's Pirates. Josh Harrison, followed by Gregory Polanco and Andrew McCutchen. Then it's Neil Walker, Starling Marte, and Pedro Alvarez. Bottom third of the order, Jordy Mercer, Tony Sanchez getting his first start, and A.J. Burnett on the hill. A.J. Burnett just now making his way in from the bullpen, followed by his catcher and Ray Searage, and Anthony DeSclafani will make his first start for the Cincinnati Reds. He came over from the Marlins over the offseason in a deal for Matt Latos.
Up and down last year. The 5 starts were not good for DeSclafani. A 7.40 ERA. Did okay when he pitched out of the bullpen. Opponents hit over 300 against him. Could be that he struggled as a starter. He's pretty much a 2-pitch guy. Fastball, slider. He'll throw the fastball into the low 90s for the most part. Without the third pitch, an occasional changeup. You wonder, the second and third time through a lineup, how he'll do.
Check out the Honda defense behind him. Billy Hamilton, the speedster, in center. Marlon Byrd in left. Jay Bruce in right. The corners on the infield, Todd Frazier and Joey Votto. And up the middle, Zach Cozart and Brandon Phillips and Devin Mesoraco. The start behind the plate. Joey Votto, the game-winning hit last night. Josh Harrison was 1 for 5. And a strike is called. DeSclafani didn't have enough innings to qualify for one statistic, according to Fangraphs. First pitch strikes 66% of the time, and this ball lifted lazily to right field, and Bruce makes the easy catch. 66% of the time throwing first pitch strikes. That would rank him in the top 15 in the major leagues if he had enough innings to qualify. And a first pitch strike to Harrison. DeSclafani, 24 years old, from Freehold, New Jersey, faces Gregory Polanco. Polanco had 1 hit, was on base twice, but that 1 hit was impressive, wasn't it, John? The leadoff single up the middle against Aroldis Chapman. Tries to bunt for a hit and fouls it off.
Yes, indeed. He was aggressive against Chapman, too. Fouled a couple balls off. Got the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Actually hit it off the end of his bat. And through the middle.
Takes a ball from DeSclafani. Andrew McCutchen on deck. So Polanco starts the season 2 out of 9 and lines this ball to right field, but Bruce is going to be there. A fly out, a line out. 2 up and 2 down.
Pretty good swing once again from Gregory Polanco. Jay Bruce was kind of shading him a bit towards right center and playing him deep. Thought maybe a gap shot off the bat, but Bruce had him played perfectly.
Here's Andrew McCutchen. Went hitless in 5 at-bats last night. Did draw a walk and scored a go-ahead run in the top of the 7th inning. Corey Hart, in his first Pirates at-bat, was a pinch hitter against Burke Badenhop, and he singled up the middle the first pitch he saw, scoring McCutchen. That lead short-lived as the Reds tied it in the bottom of the 7th. 2 balls and a strike on Andrew McCutchen.
Tried to get Andrew to chase a couple of sliders there. Not a whole lot of break.
3-1. (6'1", 192 pounds, DeSclafani, and in the dirt walks Andrew McCutchen. DeSclafani pitched in Montreal. They played an exhibition series at Olympic Stadium against the Toronto Blue Jays this past weekend, and DeSclafani pitched against Toronto. Pitched okay. 4 innings, 3 hits, gave up a couple of runs. That followed a rough start against the Padres in Arizona, where he gave up 3 home runs. His second to last start of the spring. Neil Walker takes a ball, maybe a flinch from Bill Welke, the home plate umpire. Walker had a sacrifice fly in last night's game drew a leadoff walk in the second inning and scored the Pirates' first run.
There's the changeup. Again, throws it occasionally and almost exclusively to left-handed batters.
Was also working on that curveball this spring was DeSclafani. Missed with a fastball away. 2-1 on Neil Walker. 1 for 7 in the series. 23 home runs last year, drove in 76. A 2-1 count. And lifted to left. And Marlon Byrd makes the catch. 3 flyouts. A.J. Burnett returns. A.J. Burnett back with the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is where he wanted to be. Told his agent to negotiate with the Pirates almost immediately after the season, and only the Pirates. He signed a 1-year, $8.5 million deal. Would have gotten more if he had stayed in Philadelphia. Says this will be his last year. Now we'll see about that. It depends on how Burnett performs this season. He would love to lead the Pirates to a World Series title. 8-18 with the Phillies, 18 losses, led the National League. Also walked 96 to lead the senior circuit.
Talked so much about Anthony DeSclafani and pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. AJ has put together a pretty good career with basically 2 pitches. He'll throw an occasional change, but for most it's been the power fastball, the good sink on it, and the good hook.
Out in front of Billy Hamilton. 0-2. Fastball, curveball. Hamilton 3 for 5 last night, 4 for 9 in the series, with 4 stolen bases. He was caught 23 times last year, so it's not like you can't throw him out. But with A.J. Burnett on the hill today, not a foregone conclusion, but pretty close that it's a steal for Billy Hamilton. But going to keep him off the bases as long as Sanchez can throw to first. He does. Now, that had been an issue with Tony Sanchez for a while. Didn't see that as a problem in spring training until the very end of spring. Throwing that ball to first base. We'll check out the Honda starting lineup for Cincinnati. Billy Hamilton just struck out. Joey Votto coming to the plate. Then Todd Frazier and Devin Mesoraco. Jay Bruce will follow. Marlon Byrd, Brandon Phillips, Zach Cozart, and DeSclafani. So A.J. Burnett returns to the Pirates, and the first batter he faces wearing the black and gold is a strikeout. Joey Votto, 2 for 6 with a pair of ribbies last night, including the game-winning hit, and 4 for 10 in the series. One ball and one strike. And Burnett, after parts of 7 seasons with the then Florida Marlins, was with Toronto for 3 years, the Yankees for 3, traded to the Pirates before the 2012 season. His first year with the Bucks, won 16 games, 202 innings, and that despite missing the first portion of the year right out of spring training. And a strike is called. It's 2-2.
See the fastball, 91, 92 miles per hour, maybe a tick or two down from what we saw a couple of years ago. Still has the good movement. Whoa.
Burnett was expecting a strike 3 call from Bill Welke, did not get it.
WB Mason strike zone will show you that just barely off the inside corner.
Welke behind the plate, James Hoy at first, John Hirschbeck, crew chief at second, and Sam Holbrook at third. Full count pitch from Burnett to Votto. A little broken bat on the hands, one hopper, Squibber, and Mercer throws out Joey Votto. 2 up and 2 down. Rivers Casino tips to win from John.
I think as always with Burnett, we mentioned the walks a year ago, the rough year in Philly. The command is key. So far, so good. AJ's locating the fastball and the curveball and cashing on the opportunities. You know, the Pirates had many opportunities in last night's game. Only came through a couple of times with runners in scoring position. When they get guys on base, they need to come up with the big hits.
Todd Frazier has homered in each of the first 2 games of the series, takes a strike. The winning homer broke a 2-2 tie on Monday in the 8th inning. And now Burnett out in front of Todd Frazier. No balls and 2 strikes. Home run derby champ last year was Frazier in the All-Star game. Burnett gave up 20 home runs last season. It's not a whole lot when you consider that Philadelphia ballpark, that bandbox.
Yeah, and over 200 innings.
Yeah,
just 214
innings.
That's not bad. You figure that's one every 10 innings, 10 and a half innings.
That's coming up this weekend against the Cardinals. The bobblehead giveaway.
Good location there for AJ, and I think that's what Frazier's probably not going to see anything inside today. If he does see anything on the inside part of the inside half of the plate, I think it'll be a mistake. We'll see Tony Sanchez set up on that outside part all day long.
And up the middle, but there is the second baseman, Neil Walker. That's one thing that A.J. Burnett actually kind of missed in Philadelphia, that infield shifting. Inside Pirates baseball, the Buccos' fate could come down to a select few in 2015, 6 Bucks. Explore these 6 players and why the season just might hinge on their vital performances on Inside Pirates baseball. 6 Bucks today after postgame on Root Sports. Starling Marte will lead off. A.J. Burnett checking in with Ray Searage. Marte takes a ball that didn't miss by a lot. 1 for 5 last night. He had a double in his second at bat against Mike Leake, lined out in his first at bat. And there's a one-hop shot to the shortstop, Zach Cozart. 1 up, 1 down. Strong defense for the Cincinnati Reds. Fielding percentage last year of .988 for the Reds team. That was the best in the major leagues. Todd Frazier's a real good one over there at third, or at first for that matter. Played a lot of first base with Joey Votto being injured. You know about Brandon Phillips and Votto. Excellent at first as the strike is called on Alvarez. Alvarez 1 for 3, RBI double in the second inning. His first at bat last night. A ringing double that short hopped the wall in left center. He's in the hole 0-2.
The outfield defense solid too. I mean, Hamilton can obviously go get it. Marlon Byrd, underrated outfielder.
And Jay Bruce.
And Bruce, solid as well. Talking about it last night, Hamilton, watching him in batting practice, pretty impressive to see him shag. He runs 1,000,000 miles an hour and he chases everything.
He just loves, you could see when he came onto the scene how much he loves to play the game. A student of the game, wants to get better, has gotten better. Meanwhile, DeSclafani strikes out Alvarez. 2 up and 2 down.
Not a big strikeout pitcher. You can see the average velocity, short little slider, and then another changeup here. He threw one to Neil Walker, but look at the location. Nothing on the plate, and that's why they like him. Top 10 prospect, and it's not because he's overpowering. It's because he knows how to pitch. Keeps the ball out of the heart of the plate.
Jordy Mercer toward right center field. Hamilton on the move toward the track, and he makes the catch. 1, 2, 3. Go the Bucks.
en route sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Caring people, caring for you. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin Furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
Plenty of Bucco fans on hand, of course. The opening series of the season. We expect to see more in Milwaukee and a lot more starting on Monday, a home opener against the Detroit Tigers. Hope you are making your plans to see Pirates baseball as a season ticket member. 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. The first 3 games against Detroit American League play. Then the Brewers are in, and then 4 with the Chicago Cubs. Go to Pirates.com. Pick up your tickets. Check out the promotional schedule. Ball 1 on Devin Mesoraco. 4, 5, 6 men in the order against A.J. Burnett. And now 2 balls and no strikes. If things go according to plan, Burnett would pitch the first home night game for the Pirates next Tuesday night against the Tigers. Bounced left side and just tipped by Josh Harrison. A base hit for Mesoraco, his first hit of the young season.
Stays down on Josh Harrison. If his ball comes up, he gets maybe the ball a foot or 2 off the ground. He probably comes up with it, but you see there, it just didn't come up for him. Stayed down off the end of his glove.
Mesoraco aboard. Here is Jay Bruce. Check swing foul. See the shift on. 3 infielders on the right side. Jordy Mercer stays at short. Bruce with 3 hits and 6 at bats, including a home run this series. A swing and a miss. Sanchez keeping that ball in front. Sanchez, I don't know if he's becoming Burnett's personal catcher. Sanchez is on the roster currently with Chris Stewart on the DL, but he caught quite a few of Burnett's games in Florida in spring training.
That was a heck of a block right there.
If you were paying attention at all to what was going on in Florida, we talked a lot about Tony Sanchez, and one of the real bright spots, in particular his defense. He was hitting in March, but really picked things up defensively with the blocking, and even those throws. Was displaying pinpoint accuracy with those throws throughout 3 or 4 runners at first with pickoffs or second base. It had been an issue for him. And A.J. Burnett takes care of Bruce with his second strikeout of the game.
A lot of curveballs early in this ball game for A.J., and it's been sharp, and he's gotten a lot of bad swings. That downward action, Jay Bruce out in front and well over it.
And the Barrel Automotive League leader stat, active career strikeout leaders, 2 more for A.J. Burnett, 2,372, trailing only C.C. Sabathia. Marlon Byrd, a swing and a miss. Oh, 0-1 the count. Sanchez looking at Brad Fisher, who is controlling the running game this year. Added to the Hurdle coaching staff with Jeff Bannister down in Texas now as the manager of the Rangers. Bouncing ball toward third, just foul. Brad Fisher added to the coaching staff in November. 6th season in the organization. Minor league field coordinator last 3 years. A former catcher in his playing days in the minor leagues. Spent a lot of years in a couple of different organizations as a minor league manager. 0-2 on Marlon Byrd. Fastball missed. Byrd 1 for 5 last night and 1 out of 9 in the series. He and A.J. Burnett were teammates in Philadelphia last year. Roller and through, a base hit. A soft ground single between Mercer and Harrison puts runners at first and second.
Couldn't place that one any better. It wasn't hit all that hard off the end of the bat. Out in front was Marlon Byrd. Another good breaking ball from A.J. Burnett that just finds a hole.
Now Brandon Phillips with Sanchez running through the defensive signs. Burnett giving up a leadoff single to Mesoraco, striking out Bruce, and a base hit for Byrd. Phillips picked up an RBI last night, 1 for 5. He is a career .321 hitter versus A.J. Burnett. Ball 1.
A.J., you look at his numbers from a year ago, his first 5 weeks, 7 starts. And it was outstanding. Had just a 2.06 ERA with the Phillies, and then struggled the second half. And a lot of it had to do with what he did against right-handed pitching, or right-handed hitting. The first 7 starts held him to a 191 batting average.
1 ball and 1 strike. That's Phillips.
So hard to hit. AJ's big curveball, a right-hander, as that thing runs down and away from Brandon Phillips. But after those 7 starts for the Phils last year, the right-handed batters in the league hit .281 against him, which, as good as his stuff is, awfully high.
1-2. You have to figure he feels pretty good physically. He is 38 years old. He has spent parts of 16 seasons in the big leagues. There are the numbers for A.J. Burnett in his career versus lefties and righties. And then he pitched through that hernia last year.
And he says, it sounds as if he pitched through it and had no issues with it. But that could not have been comfortable.
You credit Burnett for not making an excuse. I mean, we have heard other players and pitchers have that situation and have talked about how uncomfortable it is. Maybe not painful, but uncomfortable. He did have surgery at the end of the season, but he did not make an excuse, and he went on despite losing a league-leading 18 games, throwing 214 innings. The most any one season in his big league career. Another 1-2 pitch. And a chopper. There's 1. And they get 2. A.J. Burnett, little fist pump as he gets the double play from Phillips.
bus time by about an hour today, so guys got to the ballpark later. They did have a chance to eat some breakfast for manager Clint Hurdle. He eats something that is made very specially here in Cincinnati. It's a German-American breakfast staple, and it's called Geta. Now, it's a very popular dish here in the Cincinnati area. Hot sausage, some pinhead oats, and that is Tom Barnes right there cooking it. He put some special seasonings in there as well. Now, Tom comes in about 4:30 to 5 in the morning to cook it because Clint Hurdle has been there, been coming to the Cincinnati area for a long time. There's Tom right there and Scott Bonnet, the Pirates equipment manager, next to him. So the two of those guys work together. And here's the story with Clint Hurdle. He's been eating this Geta every time he's come to Cincinnati since his playing days. And Clint was known for leaving a $20 tip at this restaurant. And back in those days, obviously, that's a very large tip. And he kept leaving it throughout the years as time went on. Well, Tom tells a story. He goes to the restaurant where Clint goes. He says, hey, Clint Hurdle, he's still leaving me a $20 tip. He goes, yeah, now they think he's cheap now because the tip hasn't increased over the years. And I asked Clint Hurdle about it. He said, well, I like to call it more consistency than it is being cheap with that. But Tom cooks Clint's very special dish every morning, and Clint is very appreciative of that.
Well, it's one of the nicer men you're ever going to meet, by the way, Tom Barnes.
Spend some time with the Pirates down in Bradenton.
Yeah, seems just about every year. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count on Tony Sanchez. 1-2 on the former first-round pick back in 2009 out of Boston College. 26-year-old out of Miami, Florida. DeSclafani has a couple of punch-outs. Doesn't waste much time. DeSclafani was a 6th-round pick of the Blue Jays 4 years ago out of the University of Florida.
Trying to figure out what that pitch was at 85 miles per hour, whether he threw a right-on-right change or just kind of turned over the fastball, took a little bit off of it, almost like a BP fastball.
A.J. Burnett hit 133 last year. Foul out of play. That doesn't sound like much, but 8 hits in 60 at bats. That's as many hits in one season and he had in 2 years combined with the Pirates. Career 113 average. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Pirates pitcher. DeSclafani has struck out 3. 2 up and 2 down. Now become a Pirates season ticket member. You get unprecedented year-round access to exclusive events and experiences. And it's not too late to pick up opening day tickets. Remember, all full and half season plans include opening day. Plus, remember that 20 game members have the chance to purchase opening day tickets. Call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS and talk to someone right now about it. 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. Talk about season ticket memberships, full season, half season, those 20 game plans. Do not be left out. Opening day coming up on Monday against the Detroit Tigers. And the start of an opening 10-game homestand. Josh Harrison flied to right his first time up. And as advertised, DeSclafani is throwing those strikes. Drafted by the Blue Jays out of the University of Florida 4 years ago, and then he was traded to the Marlins, part of that blockbuster deal. Henderson Alvarez, Yuniel Escobar, and other players as Harrison hits a fly ball toward right. And plenty of fly ball outs against DeSclafani. 0-0 going to the bottom of the 3rd. And in the second inning, our Chick-fil-A double play. Brandon Phillips bounces into the 6-4-3 DP with runners at first and second and one out. Mercer to Walker to Alvarez. And Pirates middle infielders. Good combination, solid defense, Walker and Mercer.
Very much so. As steady as they come. Work very well together. Get rid of the ball quickly. Accurate with their throws. Quick with their feet.
Two of the taller middle infielders, Walker and Mercer, both listed at 6'3". The strike is called on Zach Cozart, the Reds shortstop. Went 1 for 3 last night with a walk and was hit by a pitch. A costly hit batter in the bottom of the 11th inning after Radames Lees got Brandon Phillips to pop up to start the inning. He hit Cozart. Then he struck out pinch hitter Chris Dominguez before walking Billy Hamilton, and Votto singled in Cozart for the winning run. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You certainly don't want to give Cozart anything free. .221 hitter last year. Grounded to the shortstop. There's Mercer. 1 up and 1 down. Always love to read your tweets. Hashtag BucksBooth. If you have a comment, thought about the opening 3 games and on to Milwaukee. Milwaukee will give you the rotation as it sets up here in a moment. And then Detroit comes to PNC Park for the home opener on Monday afternoon. Now the pitcher, DeSclafani, takes ball 1. Now Francisco Liriano, at least right now, is scheduled to start on Sunday in Milwaukee, but his wife is due the next day or so. His wife Joanna due to give birth to their 4th child, so we'll just kind of wait and see. But the probables are listed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The series in Milwaukee starts tomorrow night. Jeff Locke against Mike Fiers. Nissan presenting the road ahead. Vance Worley on Saturday night, and again Sunday afternoon it is Francisco Liriano. Jimmy Nelson starts Saturday night for the Brew Crew. Kyle Loesch on Sunday. They were swept in their opening 3-game series at Miller Park by the Colorado Rockies.
Fiers.
Locke and Worley right there.
Fiers is the guy that hit Stanton, correct?
Yep. Giancarlo Stanton late last year. Two and 2 on the pitcher. It remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. DeSclafani had 1 hit in 10 at-bats last season while playing for the Marlins.
His debut, he had a 2 RBI base hit.
Won't have one here as he strikes out, and 3 Ks for A.J. Burnett. Out of Little Rock, Arkansas, A.J. Burnett has a no-hitter on his resume. Clint Hurdle talked about a tough decision in spring training in terms of the rotation, and said the toughest decision since he had to make the call in that division series game against the St. Louis Cardinals, skipping A.J. Burnett in favor of Garrett Cole. Remember, that created quite a stir. Burnett was not a bit happy, voiced his displeasure, and then said he and Hurdle had a long talk this winter. If there were any fences to mend, that was taken care of, and he happily signed with Pittsburgh. Falls behind Billy Hamilton 2-0. have to believe that Burnett is as motivated as he has ever been in his career.
You would think so. Especially after last year. You know, he's proud. And he's not used to having a down year.
The appeal, no, says third base umpire Sam Holbrook. Burnett really wanted that. Pounds his fist into the mitt.
And, that looked like he held it.
Burnett wanted the strike called. And Hamilton is on. And you can bet it will not take long before he takes off. Burnett allowed 33 steals last year while pitching for the Phillies. 9 men were caught stealing. AJ Burnett's look. He wanted that previous pitch called a strike. Still upset about it.
And they're probably pretty upset with himself. You know, to give Hamilton of all people a free pass. But that's the other thing about AJ. You rarely are going to ever see a catcher set up in the middle of the plate. He doesn't give in like that. He knows that he could throw in his mind.
Pitch out. Tony Sanchez to second base. Close play, but a safe call. Stolen base for Hamilton. And already his 5th.
And that's just the speed. The pitch out, the strong throw, it's accurate. Hamilton just can fly. And a slide step from AJ Burnett. How often have we seen that? In a Pirate uniform, I don't know if I've ever seen AJ with a slide step. He did everything he could to get it to Sanchez. Sanchez.
Boy, that was close.
Yeah, very close play.
Votto a chance to put the Reds up here in the 3rd. 2-0. Similar situation last night with Hamilton at second base, 2 outs. Pirates do not go with the overshift against Votto in this situation. If they did, they would basically concede third. And last night, Votto singled, driving in Hamilton in the 7th inning. A base hit to right field. Had the shift been employed, it would have retired Votto. 2-2.
Job from AJ coming back. Votto taking his time getting back into the box. Hamilton most likely to stay put here with 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Strike 3 called. Burnett gets that call and strikes out Votto with Hamilton at second. 3 innings complete. Still 0-0. Top of the 4th inning. Gregory Polanco will step in. Breeze kicking up. That bad weather is fast approaching. Polanco, McCutchen, and Walker here against Anthony DeSclafani. Polanco lined out to right field his first time up, and there's a line drive base hit to center field. So Gregory Polanco leads off with the Pirates' first hit.
His hands are so loose for such a big man. He just like fires the barrel at the ball. Good pitch. Off-speed pitch, the changeup, down and away, right on the edge. And Polanco slaps it up the middle like he knew it was coming.
It's his 3rd hit in this series. Throw over. Polanco returns easily. Andrew McCutchen at the plate walked his first time up. Looked like Polanco had taken a large stride there and a bit closer. Ball 1.
Second time through the lineup. Now the Pirates batters are familiar with the type of stuff that DeSclafani has. See if some adjustments could be made.
The big cut, 1-1.
I'll tell you this though, the location's been pretty good. If he continues to stay out of the middle of the plate, it's going to be hard to string hits together off of him.
There goes Polanco, and there is no throw. Gregory Polanco picks up his first stolen base of the young campaign.
Picked a good pitch to go on, got a good jump. Pitch in the dirt. Those long strides.
He had 14 steals and 19 attempts at the big league level last year. He's a guy who, with the West Virginia Power 3 years ago, swiped 40 bags. 2-1 on McCutchen with no one out. And looked like he recognized the breaking ball too late. 2-2. And Mesoraco calls time.
Yeah. Kind of weird there. I mean, Mesoraco took some time to put the sign down. He kind of gave a fist to his young right-handed pitcher, and then the first sign he put down, DeSclafani basically started into his stretch.
Now they're going to talk about it. Beg your pardon, that's the second steal for Polanco. They gave him a steal last night as he took off for third uncontested. This ball's pop up into shallow center and a slip. Brandon Phillips makes the catch anyway. In shallow right center field. Phillips slips but keeps the concentration and makes the catch.
Man, what good fortune here for the Reds that he was able to be in a position after he goes down on his knees. Because once you're on your knees, there's no getting up and catching this ball. He's just fortunate that once he went down, he was a body length from that ball and able to make the catch.
Neil Walker flied out the other way his first time up against DeSclafani and takes a strike. 6 outs have been recorded on flyouts against DeSclafani. He has struck out 3, and there's been 1 out recorded via the ground ball.
Fastball at 93. That's about as hard as he's thrown. Tell you what, though, reports have been that he doesn't trust the changeup much, doesn't throw it often, but he's thrown quite a few, including the first pitch to Neal.
Now the shortstop Cozart goes over to cover second. Polanco with a leadoff single. Steals second base, remains there on McCutchen's pop-up. 0-2 on Walker. One and 2 on Walker, who made his big league debut right here at Great American Ballpark. Brandon Phillips robbed Walker of his first big league hit. He was a pinch hitter in his debut. And another strikeout.
September 1, 2009. I remember the one hop shot to Phillips left. He was able to dive, make a play on. Going with the slider here with 2 strikes. I think it was the slider at least. Yeah, there you see the spin. Not a whole lot of break, but breaks down just enough to have Neil Walker swing over.
And bad weather really approaching now. Fans are leaving their seats and heading for cover. Here's Starling Marte. Pop up. Shallow right. Votto is out. And a lot of outs in the air. A leadoff hit and a stolen base. Polanco stranded at second.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Grounds crew talking things over. And as that happened moments ago, the grounds crew now is told to come out and cover the field. So the first 3 games of the 2015 season, each of the 3 games will involve some kind of rain delay.
Unfortunate. It's just out to the west. It's been approaching since the game started. Thought maybe get another half inning in or so. But I guess John Hirschbeck, crew chief, heard enough from the grounds crew that it's best to cover the field.
There's a 35-minute rain delay on Monday, opening day, and last night, 2 hours and 35 minutes. That's why one reason, along with 11 innings and 4 hours and 1 minute, one reason the two clubs finished at 1:45 this morning. So we are going to wait this one out with you, and in just a moment, get a chance to see very interesting inside Pirates baseball. 10 great Pirates blow-ups, and we'll keep you posted from Cincinnati, a scoreless game. Just waiting for the Pirates to take the field now that the field is ready. There does not seem to be a ton of urgency at the moment. And Burnett is ready, and he'll lead the Bucks out onto the field once again. It's got to be a weird feeling. I don't care how many years you've been in the big leagues. It has to be strange. Delay that'll be about an hour and maybe 15 minutes or so before he throws the first pitch again to Todd Frazier after throwing 3 innings.
I would think the only thing more frustrating is to sit around for 2.5 hours like Garrett Cole had to do before yesterday's game. I think it would be waiting over an hour after you've thrown 3 innings. And, at least if you've started a game and then there's a delay, at least you're up and active a little bit. You've already been loose and gone through your pregame routine. But, yeah, that does have to be frustrating. And I think both Cole and Leake, it may have affected them somewhat. Neither had their best command in last night's game.
John, I wonder what the formula is. But that's something maybe to sit down with Ray Searage someday about when do you determine that the delay was too long. I mean, he only pitched 3 innings, so that probably comes into play. But if this had been a 2.5-hour delay, they say, bag it now. But what is it? What's that tipping point, I wonder, for these pitchers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it probably matters more depending on how long you've been in the league, how durable you are. A younger player, I think they have a tendency to treat a little more with kid gloves and perhaps maybe, be a little more cautious. But a guy like AJ, who does have the rubber arm, who does throw a ton of pitches, a ton of innings every year, I think they probably feel he can go.
Well, it's going to be interesting because we have on the other side a young pitcher then.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Brian Price decides, because you do have a young kind of untested pitcher and Anthony DeSclafani, will they not risk it with him when the Pirates bat in the 5th inning? Now Todd Frazier stepping back in. He grounded out to Neil Walker in a 1-2-3 first inning. 3, 4, 5 men in the order.
And AJ did not take many warm-up pitches after coming up from the clubhouse.
Frazier shows bunt and takes ball 1. A 1 hour and 14-minute rain delay. We need a new baseball, more baseballs maybe.
There's a sign on out in center field in the batter's eye that they need to get turned off.
Subs so fast you'll freak. They're trying to get someone to turn off that, and this is all we need, huh?
Yeah. Well,
they got it.
And that's high enough. It probably doesn't affect the batter as much as it affects the catcher. The catcher down obviously a lot lower, looking up. A lot of white behind him.
1-0, tapped foul toward third base coach Jim Riggleman. 1 ball, 1 strike on Todd Frazier, 29-year-old from Toms River, New Jersey. First round pick in 2007. Checks, takes a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Burnett with 4 strikeouts. Struck out Joey Votto with a runner at second and 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Struck him out looking. And that's bounced foul. 2-2.
Good 2-seam fastball there. I didn't think Frazier would see anything in. That ball ran in. The difference with movement on that fastball. Hard to get airborne. Good sinker.
Another foul. Burnett's debut with Pittsburgh took place April the 21st, 2012. Started against the St. Louis Cardinals. He began the year on the disabled list. Remember, he bunted a ball up into his cheek and fractured his right orbital bone and had to have surgery on that. So his start to his Pirates career was delayed. Rolled to Harrison. Takes care of Frazier. And it was a strong debut for A.J. Burnett. April 21st, 2012, as he pitched 7 scoreless innings and struck out 7 St. Louis Cardinals, a 2-0 victory. Sclafani, the pitcher for Cincinnati, in the dugout.
Another potential factor as well in terms of having these starting pitchers go back out there. A lot of use out of that bullpen yesterday.
Good point. Clint Hurdle said the only guy he wouldn't want to use today is Jared Hughes. Strike 1 on Devin Mesoraco. And starting to rain again. Not heavy just yet. 1 ball, 1 strike. If you've been watching baseball a lot of years, you might remember that the old Riverfront Stadium days, the Reds took great pride in playing every game on their schedule. They didn't care how long those rain delays were at the old Riverfront Stadium. They would wait it out and they would play. They felt an obligation to people that had tickets, come from far and wide to see their Reds.
Yeah, and there were some frustrating games here. It started way late.
2-2 on Mesoraco, and a strikeout and a lookout. Bat sailing into the Pirates dugout. 5 Ks for Burnett. And Jeff Branson, the hitting coach for the Pirates. And now Jay Bruce. The bat heading toward the Pirates dugout. Jeff Branson getting out of the way. Ball 1 on Bruce. The Reds endured a total of 27 rain delays last year. Marty Brenneman there on your right, Bob Walk on your left.
27?
27, 18 of them here. 18 rain delays here at Great American Ballpark last season. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bruce.
They're on pace for 81 this year. At home.
81 home, yeah. Haven't hit the road yet. Strike 2. Bruce shrugs his shoulders. Reds have a weekend series against the Cardinals. Then they have a 10-game road trip to Chicago, St. Louis, and Milwaukee. Broken bat, bouncer toward Mercer. And on the short hop, gathers it in and throws on. And 1-2-3 for A.J. Burnett after the 1 hour and 12-minute rain delay. Saturday, that is, Zambelli fireworks. Follow the Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers 7:05 start. Great fireworks show as always, courtesy of First Energy Solutions. Saturday, April the 18th. Plus, don't forget, every Saturday is an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. 7:05. That'll be game 2 of the 3-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers on Saturday the 18th. A.J. Burnett, a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th. Anthony DeSclafani is on the mound. Face Pedro Alvarez, struck him out in the 2nd inning. What about for a hitter, John? We talked about a pitcher that those delays, so just got to do anything you can to pass the time, huh?
Yeah, there may be card games. Who knows? Certain guys may go to the cage.
And a base hit past the shift. Picket fence on the right side. Alvarez shot it between Votto and Phillips.
I think it's difficult as a hitter just to get up there, especially the first couple of batters after a delay. I mean, just to ramp it up again. You know, it usually may take a half inning or so to get back on track, get the adrenaline going.
Jordy Mercer at the plate, a fly ball to the warning track in right center field in the 2nd inning. Takes the strike, a breaking ball from DeSclafani. Hit by Alvarez, the 2nd hit today for Pittsburgh. Gregory Polanco led off the 4th inning with a base hit.
You know, it's so weird, like, you know, when you come out for a start of a game, you're so used to the whole routine. You know, you come out of the clubhouse.
A line drive, base hit into center field. Runners at 1st and 2nd.
Let's see if Tony Sanchez could do something here. Obviously, got the pitcher AJ behind him, so this will not be a bunt situation. But you come out and then you do your stretching, you run, you throw a little bit, and then the anthem plays, just the normal routine. And so when you come out after a delay, it's just go out and play. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just so surreal. Mm-hmm. Surreal. It's not anywhere near what you're used to. I think it helps actually to go out there and be on defense first, because then you get back into it. I would much rather go out and start a half inning on defense than to come up and be one of the first couple of batters.
Ball 1 on Tony Sanchez. DeSclafani struck him out. 1 ball, 1 strike count on the Bucco catcher, Tony Sanchez. Last night's game took 4 hours, and Francisco Cervelli caught all 11 innings, so no surprise that Sanchez is back there. Maybe a bit of a surprise that Devin Mesoraco is behind the plate for Cincinnati. And 1-2. Fastball past him.
93, still throwing as hard as he was before the delay. Yeah, very strange. I don't know if you'll see that very often, where a catcher catches 11 innings the previous night. We get done almost at 2 in the morning, and they're back in the lineup for a 12:30 game.
There's Cervelli. Now 2-2 on Sanchez.
94. That the top velocity wise.
DeSclafani, again, 24 years old, New Jersey native, originally a 6th round pick of the Blue Jays in 2011 out of the University of Florida. Full count, barely missed.
Well, this is a big pitch for DeSclafani. You wonder, I mean, he's been staying out of the middle, hitting the corners all afternoon for the most part. He has to throw a strike here. Is he going to try to pick a corner, or is he going to come right at Tony Sanchez? Wow.
Struck him out.
How about that? 24 years old. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. A 3-2 slider. It was coming at Sanchez pretty much the whole at bat with fastballs, and confident enough to throw the slider in a perfect location.
2 on, 1 out. 5 punch-outs for DeSclafani. And A.J. Burnett will look to bunt the runners over. The rookie against the veteran here. And he gets it down. Well done by Burnett. Frazier has to throw to Phillips. Sacrifice moves Alvarez to third, Mercer to second.
That's perfect execution. Directional bunting. Make the third baseman field it. Good job by AJ and hopefully J-Hay. Who better to have up there in a clutch situation?
He's twice flied to right field. Burnett will get some fist bumps. Harrison led the National League in these situations last year. Hit .372 with men in scoring position. He's hit by the pitch to load the bases. Bases juiced for Gregory Polanco. Josh Harrison's dad on hand.
And Josh Harrison stays pretty well off the plate. I thought it got him maybe in the back, but ends up getting him on that left elbow. Maybe in the funny bone, but certainly not funny.
Polanco looking for a big hit. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Nothing. He has lined out to right field and singled to center. Ball 1. He's had the 2 best at bats, you'd have to say, against DeSclafani. Wonder how concerned DeSclafani is. He's got no place to put him. Also known as DeSclafani. And a broken bat pop-up. Foul out of play. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Gregory Polanco.
I didn't even catch it. I'm glad you caught yourself.
I didn't catch myself. The truck caught me.
Oh.
So if you're paying very close attention, you know, I was wrong. It is DeSclafani.
Nothing wrong with admitting it.
No, I love admitting it. Love it. I like to set an example. And in on his hands and a 1-hopper to short. He's going to have to throw to first base and safe at first. Cozart made the play and then looked and saw that Phillips was not there yet. And his throw to first just a bit late. The Pirates lead 1-0.
And Josh Harrison always hustling, always hustling. If you're at first base, you should have the mindset that if there's a ground ball to the left side, I am going to beat any throw to the bag at second base. So Harrison going hard all the way. A couple of things. Cozart sees that Phillips isn't there. Plus, J-Hay might beat that flip. So he has to go the long route. Any kind of delay with Polanco's speed, it's going to cost you.
2 hits today for Polanco. Base is still loaded. Alvarez scoring on the play. And now McCutchen. Give Polanco an infield hit and an RBI. We like to see Polanco having this early success. And a shot to the shortstop might have broken his bat. Cozart flips to Phillips for the force there. Pirates get on the board on the infield hit by Polanco. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh. giving the Pirates this lead. And today's Allegheny Health Network injury update. Tomorrow, Pirates in Milwaukee. Ryan Braun is day-to-day a strained muscle in his rib cage. Did pinch hit last night for the Brewers. Had an infield RBI single. I could see him this weekend. They have the day off today. They were swept by the Rockies. Now A.J. Burnett now with a 1-0 lead, bottom of the 5th inning, and Marlon Byrd has one of the 2 hits. It was a slow ground ball hit between Mercer and Harrison in the 2nd inning.
That must have been extremely mild for Braun. I mean, that to me, that's one of the scarier injuries. Anytime you have anything with a hitter with a rib cage, because if you make it any worse, you're going to miss significant time. So it must be extremely mild for them to use him last night.
Ryan Braun and the Brewers. They had the division in their sights through much of 2014. Then they had a great collapse in September. Pirates overtook them for a playoff spot. 1-2 on Marlon Byrd. Byrd, Phillips, and Cozart against Burnett. And Sanchez hangs on the strikeout. 6 Ks for A.J. Burnett.
Well, it's impressive the way A.J.'s throwing the ball this afternoon. The velocity, again, 89, 90 miles per hour. Late life, movement. He's gotten quite a few swings and misses.
There's Brandon Phillips. And a pop up on the infield. Shortstop Mercer. 2 outs. Phillips hit into a double play to end the 2nd, and now he pops up for the 2nd out here in the 5th.
I like the quick outs for A.J. And he probably doesn't want to leave this game anytime soon, despite the delay. Anytime you can get a 1-pitch out, that's going to extend his outing.
Cozart gets down the bunt, but it's foul. As the pitcher on deck, and anybody loosening in the bullpen?
Doesn't look like it. And so, I mean, a lot of people frown on such a play with 2 outs to drop down a bunt, but you know, if you're batting 8th and there is 2 outs, the purpose is to get the pitcher out of the way and to roll the lineup over, so you don't have the pitcher spot leading off the next inning.
A couple of strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes on Cozart. See the tarp still on the bullpen mound for the Cincinnati Reds. Still 1-2 on Cozart, who was 1 for 3 with a walk and was hit by a pitch last night and bounced out in his first at bat against Burnett today. Cozart nearly homered last night, and he goes down on strikes. 7 Ks for A.J. Burnett. Batman is back. We'll see why the Bucks may be equipped with the best offense in all of baseball. Hear Josh Harrison mic'd up during workouts and much, much more. Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, debuts Saturday at 10:30 on Root Sports. A.J. Burnett, cup of coffee in hand, back on the bench. UPMC scoreboard has the Pirates on top 1-0. And Neil Walker pops this one up. Center field, Hamilton. One pitch, one out, top of the 6th. Starling Marte is 0 for 2. One hop shot to the shortstop in his first at bat. Then he popped up to Joey Votto in the 4th inning. We had the 1 hour, 14-minute rain delay. Sun's shining now.
Yeah, nice out. Comfy.
One and two. DeSclafani has struck out 5 batters. His Reds debut. Coming over from the Marlins. A deal for Matt Latos, and he gets another punch out.
That was almost like a backup slider. Right-handed batters will tell you they don't like that pitch from a right-handed pitcher. You recognize the spin on the slider. It's inside. You expect it to break over the plate, and it just stays there. It just spins and stays inside. Marte handcuffed a bit.
Alvarez hits this one to deep left field, sending Marlon Byrd back to the wall, and Pedro Alvarez has hit an opposite field home run. The Bull the other way gives the Pirates a 2-0 lead as Alvarez hits his first of the season.
Well, we were talking about it last night. If Pedro Alvarez can stay on the pitch away and drive it that way, he could have a monster year. He has so much power, so much strength. Most of the pitchers that he's going to face are going to make him hit that pitch away. This particular pitch was up a bit, which is a little easier to get to. You know, last night drove a ball to left center field wall for an RBI double. And right here, instant offense.
Mercer swings and misses.
You look at the UPMC Sports Medicine strike zone, up outside corner. Pedro doesn't get all of it, but gets enough of it. That's the strength. It looked like a little bit off the end of the bat, but still able to muscle it over that wall.
Here is another look at Alvarez going the other way. 354 feet.
Pedro's made some adjustments, and that side view you saw, I mean, he's so much shorter to the ball. There's not as much movement in his hands. Shorten things up.
Popped up. Cozart will put it away. Pedro Alvarez in game number 3 of the 2015 season hits his first home run. 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
MLB.tv Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. And the Bull hits the home run to give the Pirates a 2-0 lead, and A.J. Burnett will face a pinch hitter. Skip Schumacher will bat for the pitcher, DeSclafani. Burnett has retired 7 in a row, 10 of the last 11. Schumacher pinch hit in the 9th inning last night. Rob Scahill struck him out looking. Scahill made his Pirates debut. We had a handful of Buccos making their debuts last night. Burke Badenhop. Ball and a strike. Schumacher, then the top of the order, Hamilton and Votto. And a base hit for Schumacher. Pinch hit single. So he's aboard, and Billy Hamilton to the plate. Hamilton has struck out and walked. The hit for Schumacher is the 3rd of the game for the Reds. Pop up heading out of play.
Well, you like when he's swinging the bat in these situations. I mean, he can cause so much stress. Nobody out, a runner on first. Obviously they're down 2, but I mean, with his speed and any kind of decent bunt, he can get 2 on. Make it 2 on with nobody out.
One and one. A.J. Burnett, his 405th career start. 155 career victories for Burnett. And 2-1. Someone is going to get up in the bullpen as Yuki Rojas answers the phone. Shot and a nice play by Walker. He'll get the out at second. Neil Walker to his left. All hit hard by Hamilton. Schumacher is forced at second.
That's a heck of a play. That ball was hit right on the button. You'll see Neil Walker, the crossover, a step and a dive. Good angle towards that ball, too. Didn't cut straight over, kind of took an angle towards right field. Give himself a little bit more room. Make sure of a good throw to second base. You know you're not going to turn 2 with the speedy Hamilton, so just make sure of 1. Now
Three infielders on the right side. Don't forget Hamilton stole second in the third inning. He has already swiped 5 bags.
And we'll see if they're a little cautious down 2 or if they just let Hamilton go.
Strike 1 on Votto.
Pirates pitched out when Hamilton stole second in the third, and bang bang play. They certainly don't want to make any outs on the bases.
Couple of strikes on Votto.
Votto unable to pull the trigger. Struck out looking in the third. If I'm not mistaken, didn't swing at a single pitch. Command by AJ. Top inside corner, bottom outside corner.
There goes Hamilton in the dirt. And another stolen base.
You got to be pretty certain you're going to make it. You're down 2, and with you, Billy Hamilton, I think most times that he goes, he's pretty certain he's going to get the second safely.
Six steals the first 3 games of the season for Billy Hamilton. Votto with a fly ball to center field. Pretty well hit. McCutchen is back. And it's gone. And this one is tied at 2. Joey Votto. Home run over the center field fence. It's tied at 2. His first.
AJ ahead in the count. A ball and 2 strikes. Came with the breaking ball. Look at the location. Middle of the plate, thigh high. And just enough distance. Votto, he carries his bat almost all the way to first. He's hoping, he's hoping, he's hoping.
Well, Burnett, who had retired 7 straight and 10 of 11 coming into this inning, gets 1 out, and he will give way to the bullpen. Joey Votto's home run has tied it. Burnett going 5 1/3, gives up 4 hits, the 2 runs, walked 1, struck out 7.
Oh, and he's looked really good. Good command, good breaking ball. That's really, he hasn't thrown many pitches that stayed over the heart of the plate until that pitch to Votto. The previous 3 hits he allowed all ground ball singles. In fact, that was only the second ball hit in the air off of AJ.
A 1 out, Todd Frazier will bat against Archimedes Caminero. Caminero made his Pirates debut last night against Frazier. Ended up striking him out, but during the at-bat, Frazier hit a long drive that was just foul, turning on a 99-mile-per-hour fastball from this 27-year-old from the Dominican Republic, Archimedes Caminero. Fly ball hit deep to left to the warning track. Marte makes the catch.
And it's pretty amazing. That's at 98 miles per hour, and he goes out and gets this one. The one you just mentioned, Greg, was an inside fastball that he got to barrel out and pulled foul. This one he got out and hooked it. See where Sanchez is setting up. And that's off the end of the bat. But no problem getting the barrel out.
Devin Mesoraco, 1 for 2. He's late on that 98-mile-per-hour heater. Popped up 100 miles an hour. Caminero came over from the Marlins in February. A cash deal. Previous 2 years, 19 outings out of the bullpen with the Marlins. And on Mesoraco, and a foul back out of play.
Mesoraco had a great start last year in April. Timing a little off early on, chasing that pitch up and out of the zone. We've seen him go out of the zone a few times in this series.
Popped up. Alvarez over. And he makes a fine catch. Pedro Alvarez. Feet first toward the railing. Comes away with it. A.J. Burnett goes 5 1/3. Caminero hits the 2 men he faces. Nicely done by the Bucco first baseman. Campaign where the man aboard ties the game 2 apiece. Pedro Alvarez getting Mesoraco on this pop-up.
Good break Knows where the dugout is, sees where the railing is, slides to protect himself, gets the glove out. That's a heck of a play.
He has homered in this game, Alvarez, and now Tony Sanchez, who struck out twice against DeSclafani, facing the veteran Burke Badenhop. Numbers last season while with Boston.
Tony was so hot during spring training, pretty much through the first 3/4 of it, and backed off just a little bit towards the end. Frustrated with himself on that one. Got a good pitch to hit. Couldn't square it up. That's 2 in a row, pretty much right down the chute to Tony Sanchez. And so much timing goes into hitting at this level, the major league level. Something's just a little bit off. You're missing pitches that you normally drive. In the case on the other side, Todd Frazier, just about everything up there that he sees in the strike zone, he's on time for and puts a pretty good swing on it. And Jeff Branson, Pirates hitting coach, has such a good relationship with all these guys, all these hitters. A lot of respect paid to Branson.
And the leadoff walk. Sanchez fell behind. Now Andrew Lambeau is going to pinch hit for Caminero. Lambeau, a pinch hitter last night in the 6th inning and drew a walk.
Yeah, my guess is he'll be up there swinging away. Lambeau, with the good power, has put together a couple of good at bats in this series.
Showing bunt, ball 1.
It's curious. Lambeau, obviously a big power guy.
You'd think that I guess he wants to wait to use Sean Rodriguez, but the first guy that comes to mind in terms of a bunting role. Or another starting pitcher. There's a line drive to right field, but Bruce is going to be right there. Lambeau. Line drive out to Bruce.
Yeah, that's tough luck right there, because you're not going to hit a ball any harder than this. He gets a pitch up and out over the plate and hits it as hard as he can hit a ball. Unfortunately, couldn't get it up in the air and couldn't get more topspin. And it's a routine play for Bruce, but extremely hard hit ball.
See what Josh Harrison does here. He has flied out twice and last time up hit by a pitch. One and one. Top of the 7th inning, knotted up at 2 apiece. Bounce to short. Routine double play. Badenhop walked Sanchez to lead off the inning. In the line out and a double play. Fridays. 1 week from tomorrow, Pirates and Brewers meet at PNC Park. 7:05 game. First 20,000 fans get a free Pirates t-shirt presented by Point Park University. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Pirates begin the home schedule on Monday. Opening day against Detroit. First night game is Tuesday night. They'll play again Wednesday evening against the Tigers. Off day Thursday, and then the Brewers in for 3. Antonio Bastardo will face Jay Bruce to start the inning. Bastardo came on last night with a runner at first and 2 outs. Took over for Jared Hughes. Faced Joey Votto. Uncorked a wild pitch, allowing Billy Hamilton to move to second, and then a base hit for Votto scored Hamilton, and that was it for Bastardo. That RBI single tied the game, and the Reds won it in walk-off fashion on a Votto single in the bottom of the 11th. A game that went 4 hours, 1 minute. Only 7 games in the history of the Pirates ended later than the one played last night and ended early this morning at 1:46 a.m. Fouled back out of play. You might remember a game the Pirates played into the wee hours of the morning back on July 26th, 2011. 19 innings and a loss to the Atlanta Braves.
Good hard slider there from Bastardo.
Strikes out Jay Bruce.
And Bastardo, a fastball, his low 90s. It gets on you pretty quick, so you got to start things early. You don't pick up the rotation on the slider, you end up looking bad. That's 3 quick strikes from Bastardo to Bruce made him regret that at bat.
Bastardo had been with the Phillies. He was a teammate last year, Marlon Birds. Bird in this game has singled and struck out. Traded over to the Reds for a minor league pitcher, 37 years old, played in 30 games with the Pirates a couple of years ago. One ball, one strike. Bastardo appeared in 67 games last season with the Phils. Had a .394 ERA. Did he go appeal? Yes.
Not much of an argument for Marlon Bird. Got that barrel out in front of the plate.
Set up way inside. Still 1-2.
91 on the gun, but getting in on the hands. When we saw Marlon Bird as a Pirate, you noticed they liked the ball away from him. It took a lot of pitches, whether they're off speed or not. Hit him up the middle the other way. Like to get those arms extended.
Coming with a changeup. 2-2. Bird came to the big leagues with the Phillies. Drafted in the 10th round in 1999. Was their opening day center fielder for a couple years, and played for the Texas Rangers for 2 seasons. On to the Cubs, Mets, Well, the other way, Polanco is over, nearing the wall, and Polanco, a fine catch as he approaches that high sidewall.
Yeah, that's a nice play going into that corner. There's not a lot of room in foul territory. Bird, he knew it was foul all the way. He was just hoping it would go out of play, or at the very least that Polanco couldn't make a play on it. But Polanco feeling his way around over there. Just enough room.
Two outs in the bottom of the seventh. Bastardo faces Brandon Phillips. Phillips 0 for 2 against A.J. Burnett, who went 5 1/3, allowed the 2 runs on 4 hits. And Bastardo out in front 0-2. Jumbo Diaz. Get ready to pitch the 8th inning. One and 2 on Phillips. Bastardo walked 34 batters in 64 innings last year, struck out 81. 4 full years with the Phils.
Yeah, there was a couple of years there where he was almost unhittable. Bastardo, righties and lefties.
We often wonder when trades are made, there are certain players that do damage offensively or from a pitching standpoint. Not just the Pirates, but other teams will acquire them. You wonder if it's based on how they performed against you.
No.
Down low 2-2. At least you wonder how much of that comes into play.
And it's not just the numbers. Obviously, when Neil Huntington brings in a guy or his scouts see a guy, they still look at the movement, breaking ball, and I think they trust their stuff and what their eyes are showing them sometimes more than what the ERA may read. I've seen that with Edinson Volquez a couple of years ago. Miserable numbers, but the Pirates still saw the same stuff that made him successful at one point in time. Made some adjustments, got a good year out of Volquez.
Volquez making his debut for the Royals today and pitching well. 6 innings of 2-hit shutout ball over the White Sox. Towards center field, and McCutchen deep in center field will play that on the hop. 2-out single for Phillips.
Phillips able to turn one around.
Zach Cozart 0 for 2. Thinking that Phillips might take off.
Tony Sanchez wants the fastball away.
Strike one on Cozart. Cozart hit .221 last year, .254 the prior season, and he's a career .243 hitter. 1-1 as Sanchez with the block.
Good block. Phillips thought about it, took a step towards second, shut it down. This ball bounces well out in front of home plate. Tony Sanchez sacrificing the body.
One ball, one strike. 2 outs. Phillips on. And a fly ball to shallow center. There's McCutchen. This game is still tied through 7 innings. Week road trip with a matinee game from Milwaukee. Catch the Pirates take on the Brewers from Miller Park Sunday starting at 1:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. Back-to-back radio only games for your listening pleasure. In Milwaukee tomorrow night 8:10 first pitch. Get on the radio pregame side at 7:45 and Saturday 7:10 first pitch. Back on Root Sports on Sunday. A young Bucco fan that wants this team's first W before heading to Milwaukee. Pirates starting the season 0-2. First time since 2006 they started a year with 2 straight losses.
Let's see if they can get something going against Jumbo Diaz. A year ago, 0-1 record, 36 games, 3.38 ERA. A hard throwing right-hander. Have held opponents to a 230 batting average.
Promoted to the big leagues June 20th last year after 340 minor league appearances over almost 13 full years. Gregory Polanco has had a good day and a strong series. Fouls this off Bill Welke's mask. Home plate umpire says he's all right. Now Polanco, McCutchen, and Walker against Jumbo Diaz, who makes an appearance in each of the 3 games. Diaz pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning last night and got his first big league win opening day.
Something off speed at 90. Couldn't tell if that was a slider or a change.
Struck him out looking.
.97-mile-per-hour fastball. Is it on the corner? Not quite, but too close to take. Diaz and the Reds get the call.
Now Polanco 2 for 4. McCutchen 0 for 3.
Did I just say Cubs? I didn't say Cubs, did I? I said Reds.
I'm not sure what you said, John. I'm sorry. I should know that. But we're normally just a couple hours sleep. We're getting by it.
Yeah, normally we're corrected by the truck.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you were correct then. They didn't need to correct you.
Nothing but snoring coming out of the truck.
0-2 on McCutchen. There's the Shirley B on the Ohio River. Oh, and 2. McCutchen has walked, popped up, and bounced into a force play. The Pirates had the bases loaded in the 5th inning after Gregory Polanco reached on an infield RBI single, but DeSclafani able to get McCutchen to bounce to short. 2-2. McCutchen had the 2-run 8th inning home run on opening day Monday that tied the Reds. Hit it off of Kevin Gregg. He was 0 for 5 with a walk last night and grounded out 4 times to the third baseman Todd Frazier. And he strikes out here against Jumbo Diaz.
Well, you have to respect the velocity at Jumbo Diaz, and then thinking fastball, you don't get it. You get the hard slider, don't recognize it, and you chase one out of the zone. Boy, there's some good late break on that 87-mile-per-hour spinner.
Ball 1 on Neil Walker. He's 0 for 3 and 1 for 10 in the opening series. Diaz appeared in 36 games last year after the promotion from the minor leagues. Finished with a 3.38 ERA. He bounced around a handful of organizations, including the Pirates. He pitched 3 years ago at AAA Indy. One and 2.
A little bit out in front.
Tony Watson getting ready to pitch the bottom of the 8th. He, like Jumbo Diaz, is going to pitch in each of the 3 games to start the season. The other way for Walker. Bird over. Ball drops fair. And Neil Walker has a 2-out double.
It's not always how hard you hit it, but where you hit it. We saw that with Andrew Lambo in the top of the 7th. Hit a ball right on the nose, a bullet to right field for an easy out. Neil Walker doesn't hit this ball all that well off the end of the bat, and slices it just inside the line. Now a base hit. The Bucks can regain the lead.
It's Starling Marte who has grounded out, popped up, and struck out. Marte was the only man that Diaz faced on Monday, and he struck him out. And Marte takes the big rip and in the hole. 0-1. One ball, one strike.
Here Pedro talking to a few folks down there right by the on deck circle where he's getting loose. He was asking the folks behind him if they could see okay.
Very nice man.
your way, am I?
Didn't want to block their view. And 1-2 now.
Well, try to shorten up if you can, if you're starting Marte. See if you can put one in play, find a hole.
Marte has struck out 6 times the first 3 games. Make it 7 strikeouts for Marte in less than 3 full games, and Walker is left stranded. Have been tied up at this stage in each of the 3 games. And Tony Watson, who suffered the loss opening day, giving up the 3-run homer to Todd Frazier, pitched a scoreless inning last night, despite giving up a 2-out hit to Marlon Byrd on essentially a pop-up. He'll face pinch hitter Christopher Negron. And then it's Billy Hamilton. And when you're at this stage, if you're a visiting team, bottom of the 8th inning, you almost are thinking a 10-inning game. Aroldis Chapman waiting in the wings. If you can keep the Reds off the board here, chances of scoring off Chapman not real good. So work cut out this late in the ball game. You're behind or tied. Negron toward right. Polanco. 1 out.
And all 3 of these games here in Cincinnati, basically it's come down to the battle of the bullpen. And in most cases, you're going to take the Pirates bullpen. It's been such a strength. And for so many years, it continues to be a strength. It just so happens the Reds' first 2 games of the series got the best of the Bucks. But I'll take our chances as we move forward in this season. The Pirates' bullpen against anybody else's.
Billy Hamilton batting right-handed. And they will retire Billy Hamilton. Joey Votto comes to the plate. Bring in the lumber. Brought to you by Yellowwood. And Votto came to the plate. He didn't think he got enough of it against A.J. Burnett. That was with 1 away and a runner on in the 6th inning. That home run tied it at 2. That was it for Burnett. Votto has also bounced out and struck out looking. One ball, one strike on Votto. He has 5 hits in the series and 13 at bats. Has driven in 3 runs. This 31-year-old from Toronto, who was hurt much of last year.
And really, the top 3 in this lineup have done most of the damage for the Reds. Hamilton with his legs, Votto with his bat and power, and Frazier. Watson with that fastball again plays harder than that 93.
Votto singled off of Watson the other way. Got him. Tony Watson. Much more Watson-like. 1, 2, 3. On to the 9th. Today, Pedro Alvarez hits his first home run of the young season. Oppo in the 6th inning against DeSclafani. And then defensively, making this fine catch on the foul pop-up by Devin Mesoraco in the 6th inning. And it's interesting that the Pirates have decided to kind of change their approach. We saw opening day in a tie game, Sean Rodriguez took over in the bottom of the 8th inning, knowing that Alvarez would be due up first in the 9th inning and knowing that Aroldis Chapman would be pitching. The Pirates had Sean Rodriguez batting in this situation. Rodriguez struck out against Chapman in that at bat, but they decide to keep Alvarez in the ball game here, tied up in the 9th.
2 ERA, almost 2 strikeouts per inning, a 121 opponent's average. Power versus power. Chapman versus Alvarez. And they're going to start him with a slider.
Alvarez is 0 for 8 in his career against Aroldis Chapman. Point Park University tweets, the bottom of your screen, hashtag Bucks Booth for your comments. Oh, and 2.
Another slider, that one up in the zone.
Fouls back the 99-mile-per-hour fastball.
Not easy to do. Up in the zone, right around the letters. And Pedro stays alive.
One away.
This is a perfectly placed slider, better than the first two. And not a lot of left-handed batters going to do anything with that.
Jordy Mercer fouled out on Monday, the final batter of the ball game against Chapman, who struck out the first two men he faced on Monday. Gave up the leadoff single last night to Gregory Polanco before getting a couple of ground outs and striking out Starling Marte. Rob Scahill, if the game remains tied, if the Pirates take the lead, we'll see Melanson. And popped up. Devin Mesoraco makes the catch. Two down, and it's Tony Sanchez.
Mercer getting the barrel head out, but easy play for Mesoraco.
Strike one on Tony Sanchez, who has struck out twice and walked.
If he leaves a fastball out over the plate, I could see Sanchez taking him oppo. Change up, 1-1. They have been trying to crowd Sanchez, though, for most of the afternoon, staying inside.
Two and one.
99, pretty close. A little extra movement from the glove of Mesoraco. I think that kind of made it easier for the home plate umpire Bill Welke to call it a ball.
And 2-2. .100 miles per hour. Chapman in the final year of his contract. Still 3-2. Wondering about the Reds, and most figuring there's no way they'll keep Johnny Cueto. Well, what about Aroldis Chapman?
Yeah. I mean, that's a luxury to have a guy that you know is going to close down the game.
Struck him out 100 miles per hour. And yep, the Pirates have to hope for extra innings. 1, 2, 3 in the ninth. Tied at 2. at shortstop to replace Jordy Mercer in a double switch. So Gung would be due up first in the 10th.
His natural position where he played most of his career over in South Korea. Shortstop. And Rob Scahill, pretty impressive outing for him last night. The fastball up at 95 miles per hour through a good cutter. 89-90. 12 appearances last year, 1-0, 4.8 ERA.
Scahill was ticketed for AAA Indianapolis. Indy makes its season opener today. Scahill was told just before the end of spring training in Florida that he was going to be optioned to the minor leagues, but when the Pirates put Charlie Morton on the disabled list after that Saturday start and Vance Worley then into the rotation, they needed Scahill. Ball one on Frazier.
I bet that's where Tony Sanchez, he's going to stay away. I can't imagine Frazier seeing anything inside.
Toward the left center gap, and that'll drop onto the track. And Frazier into second with a leadoff double.
He's turning around the fastball, just making it look easy. Every fastball he swung at, with the exception of a few sinkers from A.J. Burnett, he has hit hard. And that fastball away but up, a lot easier to get to when it's up around the belt than down around the knees. And a flick of the wrist and a leadoff double.
Here's Devin Mesoraco to the plate. Mesoraco 1 for 3. Story in the paper the other day in Cincinnati, the Enquirer, and picked up today by the USA Today nationally, about how the Marucci Sports Company, makers of bats, used some trees in Mesoraco's backyard in Punxsutawney this winter to make a dozen bats. He's trying to use that stick right now to give the Reds an opening series sweep over the Pirates.
If he used them last night, he's a couple short and broke a couple bats.
I think he's still using some old ones at the beginning of the year. And he only has a dozen of the new ones.
Can't wait till you get locked in.
Yeah. In on him, a roller. Shortstop Gung guns it to first, but Frazier's at third with one out. Now we'll see how Clint Hurdle plays this. He could walk Bruce intentionally with Marlon Byrd on deck. Set up a double play.
And that's what he's going to do, Clint Hurdle. And raising the right arm with the four fingers.
Not a very comfortable first pitch out of the zone. Chance for Marlon Byrd to win it. In a short time, Pirate fans got a chance to see what a strong RBI man Marlon Byrd was toward the end of that 2013 season. His base hit in the second inning against A.J. Burnett was just a slow roller through the infield. He has also struck out and fouled out. Bounced into a double play last night against Garrett Cole.
And they'll play the middle infield medium depth. Jay Hay even with the bag at third.
To right field, there's Polanco. He drops the ball, and the Reds will win it and sweep the series. Polanco drops the ball in right field, and the Reds win it 3-2. There's no way that Frazier even attempts to score if Polanco makes the catch.
Yeah, you're going to bring your outfield in those situations, and Polanco was shallow. And that sinking liner, Polanco got there in time. It would have been a big out. It would have been up to Brandon Phillips with first and third, 2 out.
This is going to go as an error on Gregory Polanco.
Yeah, for me, the backhand. For Gregory to go at the ball with the backhand instead of palm up. You go palm up, it's a much easier play.
Boy, what a disappointing start in Cincinnati. The Reds sweep the series. A lot to talk about. We'll go back to the studios and Robin T.